Levy, Eyal. Can you hear me? You're there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. So tell us about yourself. Where are you? Eyal's in the world of merchant cash advance, which was crushed in 2020. But Eyal has worked for years on a set of information. It's almost AI. I don't know where he's able to underwrite these deals and has escaped the major brunt of things. And now he's launching a fund of merchant cash advance funds, which is a very interesting concept. So, Eyal, why don't you talk about yourself? You're calling us from Israel. Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Israel, but I have operations in the US. I have operations in Ukraine, software people, and so on and so forth. So we are all over the world.
So introduce yourself and take us through your presentation. Thanks so much.
You see my presentation on the screen?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, great. So just a little background. I started as an electronic engineer. I representing an Israeli company in the US. I was stationed in New York. I sold a lot of gadgets to the FBI, CIA, Air Force, and so on and so forth. And one day a CIA agent came to me and said, Eyal, we know each other for 7 years. I'm leaving the CIA and I want you to become my partner. We'll sell the same equipment to second generation equipment to countries around the world. And I said, that's great, but how are we going to get funding? And he said, you know, the US government owes me $230,000. At the time, it was like $2 million now. It was 30 years ago. And he said that maybe somebody could lend us money against it. Make a long story short, I called my accountant. I told him what we're trying to do. And he said, you know, what you're trying to do is called factoring. So I said, no, you don't understand. We don't want to manufacture anything. I didn't know even the word factoring. So I started the factoring company for a distressed firm in 1992. And I was doing 250 million a year, and we had 0 losses for 20 years, all because of the software that we have developed. I developed the software myself. And right now it's being used by many factoring companies around the world. I closed that company. We're doing 250 million a year. I closed that company in 2010 because of we lost the lines of credit with Chase and Citibank. And then I opened another company. I collect art. So I started the company by the name of Platinum Art. There we factor art deals to art dealers around the world. That's that. Then 4 years ago, I went and sat down with Goldman Sachs and they told me, what are you going to do next? I said, I'm going to go into the merchant advance business. So they said, what are you going to do there? So I said, I want to put all my history into a place to create a marketplace where the clients would come, they get funding, they would get deals, they'll get this syndication, and they get everything together. Merchant cash advance is little by little replacing the factoring business because it's very easy to get into and out of a deal. These are sporadic deals. They come in, they go out, and they are very controlled. They are controlled by ACH, automatic clearing houses, and it's very easy to monitor. So what I did, I implemented my software again, but in order to understand what I did, I wrote here an example of what's a merchant cash advance. What is the deal? So let's say a restaurant oven broke and then they need $10,000. So they approach the MCA and they get the 10,000 within 24 hours. And then they owe them back 14,000 from their future income. So it's, and they pay it over 6 months. So the rates are huge, right? Because they're paying them about for 14,000 divided into 120 days in 6 month working days. So the rates are absorbent, but they use it here and there. They don't use it on a regular basis. And the market became very, very large right now. We're talking about $30 billion only in the US. And there are about 3,000 MCA companies that can't get funding by no one. There are about 15 of them, the large ones, are funded by hedge funds. Goldman Sachs is in there, one of them, and others. And right now we see a huge need for our product. People are calling us and we're funding. In the last 3 months, we tripled our business constantly. We're looking into a market like Australia, South Africa, and the UK. And this is the trick of the mechanism that we develop. On the left side, you see we have a funding group. Underneath, you have MCA funding LLC1, LLC2, like in real estate. We create an LLC for every transaction. On the right side, you'll see the Banana Exchange software platform that controls the ACH provider on the right side. That's the guy that is taking the $100 a day, let's say, from the merchant every day and giving it to the MCA provider. Before we fund, we sign a tri-party agreement with the funder, the ACH provider, and ourselves that allows us to control the ACH in case there is a default. And as you see, there is a default switch there, that in case there's a problem, we turn on the switch. The mathematics behind this is the key for our success of non-failure. Even in the COVID, we had 0 losses in COVID, although our clients lost some, but we didn't. And the beauty is that on, let's say, a transaction of $2 million of receivables, the receivables have rules. The 2 million cannot be, one receivable cannot be over $70,000. The total 2 million has to be diversified into 25, not over 25% in the same state. No one owner could own several merchants. Let's say a guy has several pizzerias. We would buy the receivables only from one, and so on and so forth. So it's very well protected. And we advance usually 25% against this 2 million. And if you'll see on the bottom there, on month 1, they'll have 2 million, and the amounts that are that we are owed are 575, which is 500, which we advance them, plus 75 is the 15% rate that we charge them. But because they pay us monthly the interest and the fee and the principal, we net 26%. And the beauty of this is that the system doesn't allow our exposure to go over 50%. And if it goes over 15%, then we have the right, if they don't fix it, we have the right to go back to the default switch, turn on the default switch, and collect the money from the merchants ourselves. Up to now, for the past 3.5 years, we didn't have to do it. Our clients are behaving. There are no issues. In one case, when we got usually when on the 6th month, although our deals are a year, on the 6th, 7th month, depends on the length of their deals, we will get, they'll reach the 50%, and at that time, they either give us more receivables. In most cases, that's what they do. Or in one case, up to now in the 3.5 years, he gave us some money, so he reduced the 50% below. What we're adding now to the market is something very unique, developed by the Israeli Mossad and the experts that left, and other intelligence defense contractors in Israel. And we're going to launch it probably next month. It's an application that we provide our merchants, and this later on could go to every industry, insurance agencies and others, but we're using it for the factoring and the merchant cash advance business. We'll give it to our clients, and when they speak on the phone with the merchant, let's say with the pizzeria or restaurant, within 40 seconds, they have to be on the phone for at least 40 seconds. They'll get a report of 85% to 95% accuracy of the prediction probability of the guy to repay back. This is amazing. It's something unbelievable. and it works. That's the key. In addition, we have a client that has 35. We have another client that has 50 people that are on the phone talking to merchants on a daily basis. And what the system does as well is they rate the guy who is talking on the phone, the marketing guy, they rate him as well on his, how did he do? Was he too aggressive? Was he nice? They give him rating as well. So the owner of the MCA would assess his people. That's I guess, this explains the whole 9 yards. Now we're trying to we have a hedge fund that joined us a year and a half ago, and also provide us with a line of credit and with debt and equity. They own 5% of the company right now. And right now we are looking for additional equity to grow to South Africa, Australia, UK. We have intensive conversations with high government officials in South Africa that are very excited about this, what we're trying to do. The UK, I know very well because I had a factoring company in the UK. And that's basically the whole story in 5 minutes. Hello? Anybody there?
Eyal, can you speak up a little bit, please? A little bit louder.
Yeah, I finished already. Hello? Can you hear me?
You're finished, Eyal.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for questions, if there are
Okay,
any.
hold on a second here. I have a whole folder. So I actually want to get back to the whole discussion we had about why are you able to, first of all, I know you have this AI that you developed and you're rolling out a fund of funds. What's the structure of the fund of funds? Can you discuss that a little bit? In the fund of merchant cash advance funds?
We don't have a fund right now. Right now it's a regular LLC partnership. And,
right.
That's it, simple.
But your intent is to invest in other merchant cash advance funds that use your technology.
Yeah, we are doing it on a regular basis. That's what we do.
Right. And how do you refine, or is there like a feedback loop? I mean, obviously your AI has some kind of machine learning built into it.
Yeah, we have a software that controls all that I mentioned, how we do it, and it tells us should we do it, shouldn't we do it, and so on and so forth. Now with the phone addition of the phone application, it will be much easier also to control them.
Can you talk a little bit about, how you're able to get the returns you get? And again, can you talk about this whole aspect of fixed income products versus your products? Maybe you might want to pull down your presentation so the audience can see you. If you want to, turn off your presentation, it might be easier.
Sure. So the issue is that we advance people money and charge them 15% per year. So let's assume that we advance them $500,000 and 15% of $500,000 is 75,000. They pay us back 575 divided by 12. So every month they pay the principal and fees together. And then we take the principal and we advance it again on another deal. So our product is around 26%.
So some quick questions from the audience. So you're not actually doing these transactions anymore. You're funding funds that do the transaction. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're funding the funders.
So is there reduced regulatory aspects to that, or are there greater regulatory aspects?
No regulatory at all, because we are not. We are doing it as a factoring deal. They are factoring their merchants, and we are factoring them. So there are no issues at all there.
Right. And how do you source these funds?
There are many right now. A lot of them know us because we've been in the market for 3.5 years. There's the LinkedIn. We advertise in Debanked, which is a major place that every MCA goes to, Merchant Cash Advance
What's the name of that?
Brokers.
Were you advertising what in Debanked?
Yeah, Debanked is the. It's a website that it's kind of the news for this market. Everybody that is in that business reads that every day.
Interesting. So there's debanked and there's unbanked. Got it. Okay, keep on going. And so another question, what do you think about this pipe.com that makes a market for trading receivables? Are you know anything about that?
Yeah, I know. Trading receivables is great. The only issue in receivables, there's a huge amount of fraud in receivables. And that's why I moved into this section, because here you're buying the diversification is much bigger. You're controlling the receivable, so and you're 25 to 50% LTV. So it's very, very hard to defraud you.
One of the questions I've always had on merchant cash advances is what's your hedge? So is this like so you said you have a 25 to 50% LTV. So you're not just backed up by the receivables. Are you backed up by other assets of the firm?
No, just the receivable, but all the
just the receivables. Okay.
But all the receivables, and because we are always at any point of time with any one of our clients, the maximum we could ever be is about 33 to 35% LTV.
I have another question from Rob Colorino, who represents a family office in New York. So his question is, how do you choose what regions to invest in? I imagine that you're kind of got a global business that you look at merchant cash advance companies globally?
Yeah, we look right now. We look only at the U.S. We're moving into South Africa, Australia, and the U.K. But that will be towards the second half of this year. Right now, we're building up the U.S.
What's making you choose South Africa?
It's a market that has been developed there for the past 15 years as well, like the U.S. The laws are identical to the U.S., such as also Australia and the U.K. As far as factoring, the factoring laws are identical, and I know them very well because I was in the UK as well. So that's why I think it's a great market.
How about other emerging markets?
There are as well, but we're looking also at Brazil and other markets in Europe, but those will have to wait. You can't take the world in one day, you know?
Okay. This is my last question. It's a question out of the blue, but have you thought about Kenya? And that's just a question because they've been, kind of ahead of the curve on fintech rollouts.
I would rather leave Kenya for others right now.
Okay. And then my very, very last question is, how do you verify title to the assets of the underlying MCA manager?
I've been in this market for many years, so we do UCC searches and we file our UCCs on the total RTR receivables of the company, and we're very secure. They also sign a performance guarantee, which is it's kind of a personal guarantee if they create a boo-boo, but it's not a personal guarantee. I've been to courts with these agreements 96 times in my factoring business in 20 years, and I won 96 times. So we're very, very comfortable with what we have and what we did. Sure.
Eyal, can you do me a favor? Stick around. There's going to be a lot of questions from the audience. I mean, you got like 10 questions here, right? You answered most of them. Can you stick around and can you go on chat and just send everybody your contact info? I'm going to email it out to everybody, but it'd be great if you can also share it as well and just give people the details, because people are asking for your deck, right? So if you can just get that stuff done, that'd be great. I'm sorry I'm talking to the side. That's where the screen is. So I wish it was in front of me. But anyway, fantastic, Eyal. Great job. Very informative. And it's always fascinating to see how technology is kind of like out there. Again, if you listen to Anderson Horowitz podcast, they always talk about technology eating the world, but I mean, it's really amazing how something like Eyal can come along, has this great technology, and it kind of allows them to go to another level in terms of what the space is.